Welcome to today's practice. The intention and the purpose of arriving on our mat today is to be grateful for where we are in this moment and to just be here, which is not always the easiest to remember. So make your way into a cross-legged seated position and we will begin our practice. So starting with just a cross-legged seat, resting the hands on the knees, sitting up nice and tall, shoulders are relaxed, giving ourselves some time to arrive and be present right now with our breath and with our body. So start to just tune inwards and notice how you're holding your breath, how you're holding your body. And pausing after each inhale. And pausing after each exhale. It's so important before we start moving the body to tap into that breath and how we're feeling. And just kind of build a bit of a foundation of where we are right now. So if you're feeling stuck, or you're feeling like you're in a plateau, like you're not moving, whatever you're going through, just remind yourself through your breath that you are able to come back to a place of that inner awareness, of concentration, and with time, you'll find that clarity again. So keeping the breath nice and soft, breathing in and out the nose. Let's bring the hands to the heart. We'll bow our chin to our chest without rounding in the upper body, just keeping the heart lifted. And then use this moment right now to be grateful for where you are, for the way everything is, to just appreciate this time, to be here. Maybe take one breath with the eyes closed, deep one into the belly. And then release, and we'll bring the right hand to the left knee, and we'll start with a little twist. Left hand reaches towards the back, left shoulder starts to peel open. And switch sides, left hand to the right knee, right hand reaches back. Maybe the chin follows the right shoulder. And come back to center, start walking the fingertips forwards. You can stay up on the fingertips, or you can keep the hands flat, whatever works for you. Maybe you lift the chin up a little bit as you breathe in. And then I invite you to bring the chin to the chest as you hollow the upper body, keeping the hips on the ground, keeping the neck nice and soft. And then start to walk the hands back towards the feet. Close the knees like a book. Walk the feet forward. Come into a bit of a staff pose. So curl the toes towards your nose or flex the feet. Press the hands into the ground. And then sit up nice and tall. So the legs are engaged, the lower body, the feet, and the hands are pressing down into the earth. Notice how you are fully connected to the floor. Breathe into the belly. And then point into the toes and walk the hands forward as far as they'll go. Just finding a nice stretch in the legs and in the low back. Finding the edge of your stretch. And then again, we'll walk the hands back, flex the feet, squeeze the kneecaps. Maybe you can lift the heels off the ground, press the hands into the floor. So fully engaged, but still. And then relax, point into the toes, walk the hands forwards. Maybe you can go a little bit farther, just exploring. And walk the hands back. We'll bend into the knees. We'll come into a reverse tabletop. So with the fingertips facing the toes, we'll go ahead and lift the hips up, press into the toes, engage the core, squeeze the glutes, big breath in. And then exhale, slowly lower down with control. Maybe you lift the feet off the ground, point into the toes, find a little bit of a supported boat pose. Maybe you can lift the hands off the ground. Hands would go towards the feet. Wherever you're at, place the hands back down on the ground, lower the feet, come back to your reverse tabletop. Inhale, lift the hips up. And exhale, hold here. Notice where you're gazing, if the breath is staying steady. Keep that breath soft. Hold for one more inhale. Maybe come up onto the tippy toes, lift the heels off the ground. And slowly lower the heels and then the hips. Cross the ankles and we'll come into a regular tabletop. Walk the knees back. Point into the toes. And let's actually come onto the elbows. So with the palms on the ground, with the elbows on the ground, we'll do like a funky cat and cow. So when you're ready with the breath, start to arch the back, lift the chin. And exhale, hollow the back, bring the chin to the chest. Let the head get heavy. Engage into the feet when you breathe in. Engage into the fingertips as you move with the breath. And exhale, hollow. Just noticing kind of what's going on in the body as you're moving into these poses. Let's come up onto the fingertips. And again, cat and cow. So when you're ready, start to arch the back. Lift the chin. And exhale, hollow, moving the spine. Press away from the floor. And again, inhale, arch. Maybe you do this last one with the eyes closed as you breathe out. Through the nose, breathe in. And last one, breathe out. Very good. Bring the knees together, bring the toes together, and we'll come into hero's pose. If that's comfortable for you, if you need a block or something to prop under your hips, do that. Place the hands on top of the knees, relax the shoulders, and find your breath again. Notice if the breath is moving quickly, if you can slow it down again. Come back to that soft and steady breath. And we'll reach the fingertips away, arms will circle around and up, palms touch. Exhale, hands to heart. Bring the right fingertips towards the ground. Inhale, lift your left fingertips towards the sky. And we'll do a side body bend to the right. Keep both hips on the ground. Just opening up through that left side. Nice, easy stretch. Back to center. And then lower the left hand down. Switch sides. Right arm reaches up. And bend to the left. Again, each pose is your opportunity to explore. So you know your body, listen to your body. And then come back to center. Let's bring the left hand to the top. Exhale, hands to heart. Let's interlace the fingers behind our back. Or if it's a bit difficult, you can grab your elbows. Maybe you can just grab a wrist wherever you're at. Just find a comfortable grip and start to roll the shoulders behind you and down. So we're almost puffing the chest forward. Maybe you lift the chin as you breathe in. And exhale, we'll bring the forehead to the ground. Maybe the hands can lift up. And use your breath as you breathe in to come back to center, lift the chin. Find that full breath. And exhale, touch the forehead to the ground again. Come back to center. Release your grip. We'll come into an eagle arm, so crossing the left elbow over the right. See how much you can twist your arms. There is no wrong way of how far you can go, but just honor the stretch without going too far. Start to lift the elbows on your next inhale while keeping the shoulders down and relaxed. Keep breathing into the belly versus only inhaling into the throat and chest. And we'll unwind the arms, switch sides. So the right elbow crosses the left, and you find that twist. It's more important to keep the shoulders down than it is to wind the arms as far as they can go. So whatever your arms look like, embrace that. And then hold here. Maybe you can lift the elbows a little higher. And unwind. Reach the arms around and up again. Palms touch. Maybe the gaze follows. Exhale, hands to heart. Go ahead, walk the hands forward as if you're coming to a tabletop. Open up the toes, open up the knees. Get ready for your downward dog. So engaging into the hands, start to lift the knees up and send the hips towards the sky. Notice any tightness in the body. Breathe into that space. Use your breath like a like a little telescope to just help you see things a little bit with clarity and honesty. Just be real with yourself. Sometimes that's hard to do, but you gotta do it. When you're ready, bring the big toes together. And we'll come into a three-legged dog. Lift the right foot off the ground, flex the toes. Exhale, step the right foot in between the hands. Make your way there. Maybe you have to heel toe. But when you're ready, lower that back knee. Keep your right knee stacked right on top of your right ankle. You can use your hands as support, so you can place it on top of your knee. If you have a block or a prop, you can place it down on the ground. All we're doing is finding a comfortable low lunge. Maybe you rock the hips back and forwards by straightening and bending into the front knee. So let's go ahead and do that. Just bend and straighten, opening the hips. You can do this with the hands on the knee or the hands on the ground. And when you're ready, we'll keep that knee, that right knee bent. And with either the hands on the knee, we'll hold. Or I invite you to lift the arms up overhead. And lower the hands back down towards the ground. Come into your half splits again. Curl your back toe. Bend into the knee. And come into a tabletop. Very good. Let's melt into a child's pose real quick. Forehead on the ground. Reaching the fingertips away. And we'll get ready to switch sides. Come back to your tabletop. Hands under the shoulders. Open up the knees and hips. And again, back into our downward facing dog. Hold here for a breath. Exhale, release, and let it go. Bring the big toes together. Three-legged dog on the other side. Lift the left foot off the ground. Flex into the left toes. So the big toes facing the floor. And exhale, slowly bring your left foot in between the hands. See if you're able to keep both hands on the ground the entire time. That's the goal. And again, you can point into the back toe or you can flex. Doesn't really matter. But find yourself into your low lunge and explore that flexibility on the hips. If it feels more comfortable to put the hands on the knees, do that. If you like the hands on the ground, do that. And then start to rock back and forth. Maybe you can lift the big toe off the ground. Just be mindful of these movements. And of the stretch and the sensation of going from one pose to the other. And using that for your own self-study. And grounding yourself into this moment. So when you're ready, stay into that low lunge. You can keep the hands on the knees. You can bring the chin to the chest. Give yourself a little humble bow. Or you can extend the stretch by reaching the arms overhead. And exhale, lower the hands down. Come back to your half splits. Bend again into that left knee. And step the left foot back. Tabletop. With the knees hip width apart, we'll come into puppy pose. So walk the fingertips forwards. Forehead on the ground with the hips right above the knees. Don't let the feet get lazy. Keep them engaged by pressing the tops of the feet into the ground. Notice where you're breathing. If your breath is staying soft or if you are holding your breath, gripping onto it. And come back to a steady breath. Let's slide the right hand over and under. So we're kind of threading the needle. Right ear's on the ground. You can stay here if that feels good, or you can extend your left foot back. Step the left leg to an extension. If you want to go farther, you can lift the left foot off the ground, come into a bit of a balance. Wherever you're at, make your way back down with your knees meeting hip width apart. And we'll switch sides. Left hand crosses, left ear on the ground. And yoga is a lot about balance, so what we do to one side, we repeat to the other. If you stayed here, stay here, or you can go ahead and then find your balance. Step the right foot back, and then maybe you lift the right foot off the ground. And start making your way back to center, lowering the right knee if it was lifted, and coming back to puppy pose. Keep the elbows on the ground, shift into sphinx pose. Lower the hips, elbows underneath the shoulders. And just like staff pose earlier, even though we are in this still position, we're fully engaged. Toes into the ground, hips into the ground, elbows, fingertips into the ground. The neck is nice and long. Maybe you can point the toes off the ground. Relax the feet. Bend into the right knee, flex the right toes. And lower the right foot down. And point and switch sides. Bend into the left knee, flex the toes. Point and lower. You can stay here in sphinx pose, or you can lift the elbows, come into seal pose, just a deeper back bend. Maybe bring the chin to the chest, just a gentle stretch for the neck, and slowly lower the elbows down. Slide the hands by the ribs, curl the toes. We'll come into an upward facing dog. So lift the chest and the hips off the ground, lift the knees off the ground. So an even deeper back bend. Maybe you lift the chin up. Exhale, lower the knees, cross the ankles. And we'll come to our final pose. A cross-legged seated position. If you would like to rest here, if you would like to rest in Shavasana, laying on the ground in corpse pose, We'll end our practice just with a few rounds of breath that are conscious, soft, and steady. Shoulders are down. Notice how your body is feeling now. Just being conscious of our inner state of being. And again, just pausing after each inhale and after each exhale. Not only to slow down the breath, but to give us that time to observe the breath and the mind. Whatever we sense and whatever thoughts come up and arise, just let it be. When we have an attachment to something that happens around us, the mind easily can run towards it. And by pausing, coming back to our inner awareness, we give ourselves that choice to move back to a state of being conscious, rather than just being distracted and pulled. Also back to a place of acceptance. The noise that's around us, the things happening around us, they just are. They don't necessarily become a part of us. They just are there. When you're ready, we'll bring the hands to the heart. We'll just use this moment now to, again, be grateful for where we're at. And this moment is all there is. So just appreciating coming back to that breath, that loving breath, and a loving sense of awareness within us that hopefully reminds you that you are safe and in a good place, and loved and cared for, and everything that is good. We'll bring our thumbs to our forehead, to our third eye, and we'll seal our practice today with a final inhale. Big breath in through the nose, into the belly. And exhale, we will release. And take our time as we ease back into our day, into